Have you ever wondered what it would take to perform and thrive in India? Well, if you have, then you'll definitely want to check out our featured conversation with Tej Brar, who is the founder and managing director of Third Culture Entertainment, a leading promoter of live concert events in India. We discuss the state of live music in India, as well as the opportunities that exist for independent artists of various genres to perform in concert festivals around the country, and much, much more. Coming up. This episode of the MUBUTV Insider video series is brought to you by the Music Business Registry. The Music Business Registry is the leading music industry publisher of the most up-to-date contact information for major and independent record label A&R, music publishers, artist managers, music attorneys, music supervisors, and much, much more. The Music Business Registry is the trusted industry standard and source serving the music business community for over 30 years with the most accurate and up-to-date contact information available. Their titles include the A&R Registry, the Film and Television Music Guide, the Music Publisher Registry, and the Music Attorney Registry. All of their publications are available in PDF, CSV, or online subscription. Visit musicregistry.com and use coupon code MUBUTV10 at checkout. That's musicregistry.com, coupon code MUBUTV10. When you're ready to put your music to work, musicregistry.com. Hi, it's Eric Knight from MUBUTV, where our mission is to educate, empower, and engage your music career. We're coming to you from the Global Rock Summit in Burbank, California, where we managed to catch up with Tej Brar, who is founder and managing director of Third Culture Entertainment in India. Tej, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
Yeah, really excited to have you. Tej, what's the state of the live music and the industry as a whole in India today?
Well, it's healthier than it ever has been in the past. I think that given the number of festivals that have come up in the last 10 years, including multi-genre, multi-format festivals, I think there's more opportunity for international artists to tour in India than ever before. One of the most interesting things has also been the emergence of venues that are between the 700 to 1,000 person capacity all across the country. The way that India is set up right now is that there is about 4 major metros, which would include Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, and Hyderabad to tour in. And then there's a lot of supplemental B and C markets, for example, Jaipur, Calcutta, Indore, and places like that. So certainly both domestically with domestic talent as well as with international talent, it's a good time to tour India right now.
Amazing. Tell us about your company, Third Culture Entertainment, and what exactly does it do? Because it seems like you're in various areas of the business, such as artist management, live events, etc. Can you tell us a little bit about what you guys do?
Absolutely. Third Culture is 5 years old now. I set it up in 2017, and I have been operating in the independent music space in India since about 2011. Third Culture as a business operates across 4 different verticals. Our primary vertical is artist management, where we manage a number of different domestic talents ranging across different genres. So from hip hop to indie rock to R&B, soul, we have quite a diverse talent roster that we work with. Our second vertical is as a touring promoter, bringing international talent into the country and being able to host them in various markets across India. Some of the artists that we've hosted before that we're very proud of are Kamasi Washington, Home Shake, Dengue Dengue Dengue, Bronco. Again, as you can see, quite a diverse roster of artists. The third vertical that we work in is we have a small independent record label, which we started in October of 2021. It's called Export Quality Records. And the primary function of Export Quality is to be genre agnostic so that we're able to release music all across genres that we kind of believe in. The main mission statement of Export Quality Records is to show the rest of the world that artists within India are making world-class music that can stand up alongside any other international artists. The fourth vertical that we do at Third Culture is production. We produce events for different clients, whether they are festival clients, for example, Goa Sunsplash, which is Asia's largest reggae festival that we produce based in Goa, usually in January, second weekend of January most years, or corporate clients like Red Bull, who we've been very lucky to work with over the years and have hosted and produced a number of events for them. So including one of the last Red Bull Music Academy sessions that happened. Yeah. So we did their last one in India, and that was great.
Yeah, so it's amazing. So you run a wide variety of areas that you guys are in and offer a lot, which is fantastic.
Yeah, and hopefully that's a value add for our clients as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You talk about Third Culture's approach to artist management as building culture and not individuals. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that our biggest influence that we can have is inspiration, and my background is working with a lot of electronic artists, DJs, and then moving from there into the hip hop space and working with in different MCs and different songwriters in that space. When we say that we build culture and not individuals, I like to think that the overall impact that these artists are having, inspiring the younger generation of artists in India, as well as building interest in new genres of music in India, that is really the value that we bring in the country, It's great if somebody finds massive fame, success, and money, but I think that the true meaning of what we do is inspiration and giving the next generation of artists something to look up to, and something to aim for.
Okay. How difficult has it been to put on events such as Neon East Fest that you started in 2019?
It's tough, man.
That's an elaborate, I saw that event. I've seen it online.
Sure.
And it's, yeah.
Yeah. So, I won't get into the intricacies of it. Obviously, the pandemic has been hugely impactful. We were not able to do the 2020 edition of the festival, nor were we able to do the 2021 edition of the festival. We are aiming to do the next edition of the festival this year in 2022, in Q4 of this year. What that looks like, what kind of footfalls, what kind of health and safety protocols we're going to have in place will all be determined a little bit closer to the event, and obviously in line with national regulations as well as state regulations. Our festival is left of center, interesting indie and electronic music, which is maybe not very mainstream, but also not super underground. So it's artists that are cool, interesting, but still accessible. The debut edition of the festival in 2019 had Muramasa and Little Dragon headlining, and we'll keep it in that same vein for this year. As far as actually producing events on ground in India, as you can imagine, there are a lot of licenses and permissions and compliances required, as well as all kinds of intricacies with getting international artists into the country in terms of visa complications and that kind of stuff. What I am very proud to say, though, is that the infrastructure that we have available in India nowadays is on par with any international market in the world, whether you're talking about the US or Australia or Europe. And what I mean by that is the staging, sound, lights, truss. A lot of artists who have come down and played with us have said that it's some of the best backline that they've ever played on before. So we're very proud of having world-class infrastructure now.
That's great. I wanted to ask you, because India, I talk about it with my partner on the show, Ritch, that we've been talking about that India has just seen an explosion in the last 10 or 15 years. What opportunities exist for independent artists at Third Culture and in India in general?
Absolutely. Third Culture as a business during the pandemic had to pivot a little bit. Obviously, we were not able to earn the majority of our revenue from live shows and from touring international artists. So our hand was forced a little bit to expand into other revenue streams. The a la carte marketing solution that we're able to offer to international artists currently, I think, is of a lot of interest. The way I like to think of it is it's a bit of a runway for artists to use, building up to the potential show that they're going to have in India. What I mean by that is, by an a la carte marketing menu, is that we've got different rates for different services that we provide. So for example, if an artist wants to get their music video into national rotation in India, that's something we can facilitate. We can facilitate FM radio play. We can facilitate pitching to Indian DSPs and getting featured on India-specific playlists that are relevant to their sound or their genre. We're also able to leverage our relationships with editorial partners like GQ and Rolling Stone in order to get great editorial coverage for these artists who are interested in touring the country. So if anybody's interested in exploring that further, they can write to us at contact@thirdculture.in, and we'll be happy to get back to them with a quotation.
Amazing. So it's a real kind of like finite thing where you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do.
Yes, and I think that the biggest value add there is that these are real, tangible things that people can see,
Right.
It results in real data, it results in real streams, it results in real sort of editorial pieces that can help substantially when an artist is making a case for why they should tour India.
Absolutely. How has India's music taste evolved over the past decade?
That's a great question. Of course, as everybody knows, in India we live under this absolute behemoth of Bollywood, right? So while that will continue to take up the majority of airwaves and cinema space and television and so on, we've seen a huge growth in regional language sounds all across India, whether that's Tamil or Punjabi, Gujarati, so on and so forth. Internationally speaking, 2010 through about 2017, I would say that electronic music largely dominated the alternative space, aka the non-Bollywood space in the country. That was mainly part of the massive global EDM wave, and all of the big boys, whether it's a Steve Aoki, a David Guetta, Afrojack, Swedish House Mafia, so on and so forth, were able to come down and tour the country repeatedly to massive adoring audiences. 2017 onwards, there's been an explosion of hip-hop, and I would say that hip-hop is really what's dominating in India currently. Rock and roll will always be in the lifeblood of most Indians, you know. A lot of Western bands like, you know, Guns N' Roses and Aerosmith and all the way up to Linkin Park, Limp Bizkit, you know, Korn, have huge droves of fans in India, you know. However, they have not seemed to make it a priority to come down and service those audiences, you know, in India. So to answer your question specifically, I think hip hop is number one right now. Electronic music is number two. There's a lot happening in the indie sort of left field space. So bands like The Internet, Anderson .Paak and the Free Nationals, that kind of sound, a little bit more R&B, soul, funk inflected. That's quite popular, with rock and roll probably being after that.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that I found really interesting, you know, I was reading some of the stories behind you and your company prior to us doing the interview, and one of the things that I'm getting from just, you know, us talking right now is that you seem incredibly passionate about India music and the scene and the future.
Sure.
What is your vision for that future?
So, as somebody who is biracial, my mother is English and my father is Punjabi, and somebody who was raised in 4 or 5 different countries all around the world, including Australia, the UK. My family has spent 17 years in Africa. So I feel like the world is a global village. You know, it's quite a small scene at the end of the day. You know, and our job at Third Culture, and the reason why the company is called Third Culture, is to facilitate the exchange of culture across borders. So if that means importing new, exciting, fresh international talent into India, showcasing them to an audience that is hungry and receptive and open-minded, we're doing our job. And similarly, if we are able to take Indian talent and export it onto the world stage and give that talent you know, an opportunity to perform for an international audience, that's really great. And I'm very proud to say that we made our first forays into that space with J-Babe, who we brought out to South by Southwest. We were in Austin, Texas last week, and we did 4 shows over the course of 6 days. So had great responses and obviously a lot of business leads. So one more step in the right direction for us.
Absolutely. Tej, are there any specific books or movies or other types of media that you would recommend to our audience on the subject of the music business?
I wouldn't say that there's really books or movies for the Indian scene specifically, but you know, what I would definitely encourage people to do is delve into YouTube. You know, everything that we've been doing for years, whether it's after movies of festivals or after movies of tours or interviews. You know, there's a great podcast called Made in India, M-A-E-D instead of
nice.
you know, the other way, because the host is a wonderful presenter named May. So this podcast Made in India is very insightful to the independent scene that's happening in the country. But if people are genuinely interested in the Indian scene, just type in independent music in India on YouTube and go down that rabbit hole.
Okay. What advice would you give, or do you have as a music industry professional, such as yourself, for up and coming artists who are looking to have a career in music?
Well, I think that the biggest thing is taking small wins and building your narrative with that. Now, whether that means starting on a Tuesday night and getting 10 of your friends to come to your club night first, and then the next week you get a Wednesday night and 50 people come, and then you go Thursday and 100 people come. the biggest thing is keeping your expectations in check, you know? This life in music is not an easy one, and it's not one that's going to happen overnight. So I think that every artist, whether they're starting out or established, needs to understand that there's going to be substantial amount of work that needs to be put in at every stage of your career, you know? And that goes for even the big boys, right? Even just because you signed a management deal or because you have an agent now, doesn't mean you get to take your foot off the gas, right? At the end of the day, it is your career, it is you know, your fans, and it is your people that want to see you win and want to see you succeed. So my single piece of advice would be to remain focused, remain driven, remain hungry, do not get deterred by small losses, and to just remain hungry and motivated, because at the end of the day, it is a long road, and there's so many examples that can be pointed to of artists that have had to be headstrong, keep their head down, and keep it pushing, you know? So more power to them, and I think that's the right way to go.
Great stuff coming from Tej on the state of live music and the industry as a whole today in India today. So insiders, question of the day. What really stood out to you in the conversation with Tej? Was it his management philosophy on building culture, not individuals? Or was it the growing opportunities that exist for independent artists in India today? Or maybe it was something else that connected with you. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to MUBUTV for more information on how to educate, empower, and engage your music career. You can also check out a summary of this episode and everything we talked about in the description below as well. And if you enjoyed this video, we'd really love it if you hit the like button and let us know what other kinds of videos and types of content that you would want to see on our channel. Hit us up in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.